Autopilot adds new features, Tesla raises a pile of money for its operations, and we get new info on the recent restraining order filed by Tesla against one of its vocal critics. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 518 for May 6th, 2019. This show is sponsored by my supporter, Richard. If you're in the market for a Model S, X, or 3, please consider using his referral code. Ask your salesperson to use code Richard174 or go direct to the web link ts.la/Richard174 and pick up a 5,000-mile supercharging credit for your new vehicle. Tesla announced that a pair of new features are coming to Autopilot. The first of the two is lane departure avoidance. If a car is leaving a lane without its turn signal on, the car checks to see if the driver's hands are on the wheel, and if not, the driver will receive warnings to get their hands where they belong. If this continues while traffic-aware cruise control is enabled, it will reduce speed to 15 miles per hour below the car's set speed or speed limit and turn on the hazards. The second is a related feature, and this is emergency lane departure avoidance. It's similar to the previous one, but acts in the event that there could be a collision or the car could leave the road. If this happens, the car will steer itself back into the lane. However, this will only apply to Autopilot 2 equipped cars per the announcement. Quote, "At Tesla, improving safety is our primary goal even after a customer purchases their car. That's why we're introducing these features beginning today via a free over-the-air software update, starting with Model 3 owners and gradually expanding to all cars that were built after October 2016. End quote. This would seem to be the feature that I was talking about in episode 514, where an owner described his experience while not having Autopilot enabled, and the car steered him back onto the road when he was about to leave the lane. There's a bit of me that wonders if that person was an early access program participant and accidentally spilled the beans on a feature that is just now coming out. Either way, glad to see the new features, and Autopilot continues to improve, making it safer for everybody on the road. Another announcement from Tesla is that they've now offered $650 million worth of new shares of common stock, in addition to $1.35 billion of new convertible senior notes due in 2024. The underwriters of the offering have the option of purchasing an additional 15% over the offering. As part of the offering, Elon will purchase $10 million worth of common stock. At least, that was the initial announcement. After the offering disappeared like candy in front of a 5-year-old, Electrek reports that the offering was increased. Elon's purchase is now $25 million worth of common stock. The total common stock offered is now $737 million worth, and the bonds increased to $1.6 billion. Of course, this still includes the underwriter option as well, so the total offering has the possibility to end up at a whopping $2.7 billion, which it is expected to. The funds will more than double Tesla's cash on hand and will definitely aid in speeding up the build-out of the Model Y production lines. Dare I say, this raise might fully fund that build-out. The market seemed to like the move as well, as the stock traded up to over $10 per share for the day after the first announcement, and then continued its rise after the extension of the offering. Given the one-time hits that the company took in Q1, there should be no need for a capital raise again for some time. And if Tesla hits its goal to be profitable in the second half of the year, hopefully the company is self-funding and we don't ever need to see one of these again. Lastly tonight, Bloomberg reports that we have an update in the story of Tesla filing a restraining order against Randeep Hathi, also known as Skabushka on Twitter. His legal counsel has responded to the order, saying, quote, "Tesla has painted a lurid picture of Hathi as a dangerous individual guilty of stalking, harassment, and trespass, whose activities constitute actual and threatened violence. As evidence in Tesla's possession will show, Mr. Hathi endangered no one, threatened no one, and harassed no one." End quote. I mean, we can only go on the filings from the two parties, but it would seem to this layman that an action causing a vehicle to take emergency maneuvers in one event, and allegedly hitting a Tesla employee with his vehicle in another event, would qualify as some of those things. Further along in the filing, Hathi alleges that he happened upon the aforementioned car that needed to take emergency action, and, quote, "took the opportunity to observe and briefly record the car's actions," end quote. That's an interesting way to categorize a tweet thread that came from the @Skabushka account that had a couple of pictures and also had the following details accompanied by a map of the route. Quote, The vehicle traveled approximately 35 miles from 1 p.m. to 1:40 p.m., entered I-880 North in Fremont/Union City, conducted trivial lane changes, merging from leftmost lane into right lane and back, and concluded its autonomous drive at the Treasure Island exit on the Bay Bridge. End quote. Seems again to this layman to be a bit more than briefly recording the car's actions, at least 40 minutes worth, as it were. This will be a very interesting case to see how Hothy's defense holds against an impartial party viewing both sides. It's no secret that you and I are going to be biased toward Tesla, but even trying to take my blinders off as best I possibly can, I don't see any possible way that Hothy's defense holds even a drop of water when faced with not only his own Twitter actions, but footage that Tesla undoubtedly has from the car, as well as footage and/or testimony of the employee that was allegedly hit. Grab your popcorn and stay tuned. That is it for today's show. Thanks very much, as usual, to the super patrons supporting the show at the $10 plus level over at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. They are Drew Schuyler, John Waller, Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dorian Steve Guberman, Bruno Kundici, Joey Boots, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Adam Raymer Brown, Megawatt Photovoltaic Development, Todd Sullivan, Robert Healy, Mitch Long, Zortec LED Canada, Morven Ogg, Blake Thompson, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, T Sportline, Michael Pastroni, Travis and Cheyenne Rush, Cookie UK, Chris Hovis, Craig Murphy, Vicky Kirk, Ricky Johnston, Bien Concepcion, Nathan Garza, Paul Gaona, and Ed Patterman. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. I'll see everyone back here again on Wednesday. Until then, keep it charged and hit the road.